poses for pictures. Another person writes, y'all are so miserable it hurts. Ouch. This person writes, she gives me secondhand embarrassment. Another person writes, went and got Ozempic to get her whole body, and it's 10 times worse. Wow, okay, calm down, people. Justin Baldoni is really working overtime with his lawyer, releasing a voice note he had left to Blake. Now it's weird. I mean, Hollywood is weird. I think you guys know this, but it was a 7-minute apology he sent to her at 2 a.m. I can barely keep my eyes open past 10. He's saying, quote, I'm really sorry I effed up. I will admit and apologize when I fail. I'm a flawed man, as my wife will attest. He continued, I'm going to piss you off, probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. I'm sorry I made you feel that way. I will, for sure, do better. So he's apologizing for something. This was the night where he had the meeting with Blake and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and Taylor Swift. And it was when Blake was advocating for her script changes. He said, quote, damn right, you've got great friends. We should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they are two of the most creative people on the planet. Remember, in a text message to Jake, Blake referred to herself as Khaleesi from the Game of Thrones and called Taylor and Ryan her protective dragons. In the voice note, Justin says that the three of them should get together. They're an incredibly powerful force, and he gushes about wanting to spend more time with her crafting the movie. Now, there are portions of the message that are bizarre, where he mentions that he feels sorry for previous experiences she's had with other filmmakers. He calls these past the people who she had past experiences with F-heads, and tells her that's not all going to be or will be, and hopefully is not the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me that I get to work with Blake Lively. He goes on to say that he and Blake are the secret sauce to making a great movie, and then finally, around the 6 minute and 30 seconds into the message, he cuts himself off saying, I'm sorry, you probably have your kids all over you, a baby on your boob, and you're listening
so
to
mate,
me
what's
ramble.
up?
Here is a shortened
Happy
clip of his voice
Friday.
note. If you want the full thing, go to my Instagram at Sloan Hooks.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 in the morning. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Wow, there's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or
How are you?
see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just gonna send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not gonna be more than a few minutes. But I don't have the best track record. I want to start with an apology. Reading the second part of your message, my heart sank. I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short.
You had football today. That's awesome.
Worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it, and how that made you feel.
Hope that went well today. I'm here for an hour, trying to get an hour in.
It takes a lot of trust.
We'll see.
I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel. I fucked up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize.
Every now and again, I'll find a story that is just really upsetting to me. Now, obviously, a lot of the stories that I cover are all, quite distressing. But today's story, which is about a missing hiker named Mike Turner, it just really upset me. It actually made it really hard to film this episode.
Trying to think
not making that
of
up.
a
It's just,
remedy for foot pain. Maybe
so consider this
soak it in
warning
some
that
Epsom
I
salt.
personally believe this is a very
Have
upsetting
a salt,
story, but an
Epsom salt
important
back.
story that we would not be covering
I
if
think.
there wasn't some real weight behind it. And I think the moral of the story ultimately
I'd say
is
like
really
dip it
treasure
in
your
some
family
ice cold
while they're
water
still
too.
around, and you'll see what I mean when you hear the rest of the
Brinley,
story.
oh
It's
my
just heartbreaking.
goodness.
But for those
No,
of you who are
Brinley.
sticking around for
Oh,
the story,
yes.
if you're a fan
It
of the
has
Strange,
been a
Dark, and
good
Mysterious
good
delivered
while
in
for
story
real.
format, then you've
How
come to the right
are you,
place, because that's all we
Brinley?
do, and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, given the kind of intense nature of the story, let's go ahead and give the like button a big hug for once. And also please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly
Oh,
uploads.
how do you get
Okay,
that?
let's get into Mike Turner's story.
HMPV. I'm doing so much better, Brinley. Thank you. It's been a while. Hope you've been good. It's
On the
really
afternoon
been a
of August
while.
2nd, 1998, a 48-year-old, 6'6" tall hiker named Mike Turner stopped for a moment and took his bottle out of his backpack and took a sip. Mike was standing in a cluster of trees on the side of this mountain about about 11,000 feet up, inside of an area in Wyoming called the Fitzpatrick Wilderness. The Fitzpatrick Wilderness is easily one of the most visually striking places in the entire world. It's like all of the extremes of nature kind of collided together in this one place.
Take an
You have these
Epsom
massive,
salt bath.
13,000 foot tall snow-covered mountain peaks.
I
You have
think that should work
glaciers,
well
and then
for
right
you.
below them, right at the base of these huge mountains, are all these lush green
Do you
fields
see my
full of tall
skin?
grass
Like my
and
skin, let
flowers
me
and
take off the
animals running
filter.
around, and
My skin
little
cleared up
streams
so
and
much.
lakes. I mean, it's absolutely
Like it still have a way to
picturesque. In
go,
fact, some
but
of the
it's
pictures
getting
of this
there.
area, they look fake. They're so ridiculous. But the real reason
I don't have a dream
Fitzpatrick Wilderness was
car.
known as this unbelievably beautiful place was because really it went kind of
A
untouched by
GTR set. I
anyone
don't really
because
know
it was
cars,
so
so
hard to get to. Basically, the only
I don't
people who
really
stepped
know
foot in
cars
this very
like that,
surreal
so I
landscape
don't
were
know.
really
I don't
experienced
have a
outdoors
favorite
people
car.
like Mike Turner, because it took a lot of know-how just to get to this area and to survive in this area. This is a very, very
The
rugged place.
GTR
But Mike
7.
Turner
I
was
don't
not
even know
content
what that
just
one
going
is.
to the
I'll
Fitzpatrick
have to
Wilderness.
Google it
He really wanted to
to
experience
see
the
it.
true nature of this area. And so what he was doing while he was out there was hiking off trail. And so he's in this totally remote place, hiking around in an area that was not even marked on a map. Now, to anybody who has not done
You have a
compass
channel
and
for
map
it?
navigating out in the wild, this might seem totally reckless.
You should
And to a degree, it
you
sort of
should
is.
definitely post
But it's
about it.
something that people totally have a knack for.
I'm
I can
planning to
speak
do
from
a
my
new
own
channel
experience when I was in
soon,
the military. We did a lot of compass
but
and map navigating, like in
I'm
the
trying to
backcountry in
figure out
Alaska and also in California. And
what
I
will
was
I
terrible at
upload
it,
first.
but I can tell you, some of my classmates definitely had sort of like an innate skill to understand where they were in relationship to terrain features. And then if you combine that with proper training and experience, I mean, these guys got really good at just being able to navigate with a map and compass. And so Mike was one of those
Yeah.
people that really was an excellent navigator. And so walking off trail like this
I
in
want
such
to
a
do a
remote place
faceless
was
channel.
sort of routine for him. Now, Mike was not some full-time he had been for 10 years, and Mike loved being a reverend. He loved his congregation, and you know, his wife Diana, his son, they were time, being a reverend was a lot of work, a lot of responsibility, and a lot of stress. And a way that Mike had found to kind of cope with that growing stress of being a reverend was to go out hiking. He actually found, sort of ironically, that when he was out in nature hiking, he felt closer to God than when he was inside of his church preaching. And it was because he sort of looked at the world as this grand gift from God. And imagine being in the Fitzpatrick Wilderness, looking at this unbelievable terrain. I mean, it looks like, you know, God made this. Who else could? This is
Wow.
so strikingly beautiful. And so with that as context,
Listen, social
on this
media
particular
is
day,
rough.
Mike had
I
stopped to
won't
sip
lie.
water 11,000 feet up
That's
on the
why I haven't
mountainside.
even put a
This was actually the
extra
fourth
thought
day
in
of a
this
9-day
YouTube channel yet.
pre-planned solo hike
But
through this
it is rough, and
wilderness
then you
that
have
Mike had been planning out for
after
over
school
a year. Now,
activities
even
that
though
you
Mike
have to
was a very
do,
skilled hiker
so
and
it is
backpacker
hard
and
to keep up.
survivalist, he knew doing any sort of really long solo hike had risks
I
that only really
understand.
come
It's
if you're
hard to
solo
keep up.
hiking. The biggest risk being that a solo hike, well, you're all alone. So you
But
better have a really good plan.
you have to prioritize, like, what's more important.
Year mapping out this off-trail path he was going to take over these 9 days. It was a 60-day Fitzpatrick map with all the different coordinates, exactly where he'd be on each day. His wife, who also was a very
Okay.
enthusiastic hiker,
Alright, I'll see you
he
soon.
told her, on the 9th day, you're going to meet me at this spot at the end of the 60
I'll see you
miles at
soon.
noon on this 9th day, right here, and I will meet you there and you can take me home. However, that plan had changed on that 4th day as Mike was sipping his water on the mountainside. And only Mike knew it because he had no way to communicate back to his friends and family. Cell phones were very primitive at the time, so he couldn't just call somebody. I mean, basically, if he deviated his plan, he was the only one who would know. Now, the reason why Mike, on the 4th day of this 9-day trip, decided to alter his course made a lot of sense. So, even though Mike was technically solo hiking, he was not actually... getting
That
really
was
off,
fast.
kind of walking on the jetted
Welcome back.
ice. And that day, on the fourth day, Mike had noticed
That was
Andy
quick.
was whimpering and struggling to keep up when normally Andy was super energetic and running all around. And he knew that, my course that I'm supposed to be going for the next few days is going to be going all the way up. He's not going to be able to do it. And even though this path was definitely, it would still bring him to the same destination. His family would be waiting for him. Now, Mike understood that by deviating his route, not only would his family not know, like they would have no idea where he was, but also this secondary route he'd be taking to save Andy's paws was going to take a little bit longer than the intended course would take. And so he knew he was not going to be there at the time he said he would. So he was not going to be there at noon on the 9th day. It was going to be maybe the 10th day or beyond. But Mike had planned for this contingency. He had brought extra supplies specifically if he had to extend his journey. And so he felt confident that even though this was a big risk, to take this path that nobody knows he's on, he felt he could do it with no problems.
I
And so
am
after Mike
sleepy
finished taking a
already.
sip of this water, he pulled
Jess,
the bowl from his
welcome,
pack
welcome,
and sprayed it,
welcome.
poured some water
Welcome
in it,
back,
placed it on
Jess.
the ground, and Andy kind of made his way over and began lapping at the water. And as he did, Mike looked down and saw Andy's tail wagging happily. And Mike felt confident, seeing how much better his dog was already doing, that this was definitely
Girl,
the
it's
decision.
dead.
Taking a secondary
I
route
wanted to
was
come on
definitely
earlier,
the way to
but
go. But as Mike waited for his dog to finish
Kaylin
drinking,
was just so
Andy
clingy
suddenly
today.
stopped and then lifted his head up with his ears perked up like he had sensed something. And then before Mike could stop him, Andy just took off running into the trees and disappeared. Now, Andy was a playful dog that periodically kind of ran around on the hikes like this. But remember, Mike is out in the backcountry and he's deviated his path. He needs to be really sure of where he is. He can't afford to make mistakes here. And if Andy just goes rogue and he has to go chase after him, the opportunity to get turned around or lost, or maybe come in contact with some big predator that maybe Andy has sensed, were pretty high. And so Mike grabbed the bowl and took off running into the trees after Andy. And after going into those trees, he emerged on the other side, Mike did, and suddenly he was hit with this incredible view, kind of looking down towards this lake. And there was this huge clearing on this side of the mountain that was filled with these huge boulders, like boulders the size of small cars, and they were everywhere. Basically, the mountain,
Yeah,
as it
Jess is a
eroded,
girl.
chunks of rock were rolling down into this clearing that was sort of at a slant down towards this lake, and it just filled the entire
God, I just
clearing with
love these
boulders, to the point
stories.
where you really couldn't
Yeah, but
actually walk on
my
solid
son is
ground. The
being
only way to
very
get from where Mike was
clingy,
and where Andy was, because at
like
this point he
extra
could see his
clingy
dog. His
today.
dog was making his way towards the
So I
lake.
couldn't
Clearly,
even come
that's what Mike
online
had sensed
earlier
at the lake, and he was going to get a drink or
if I
something.
want. I
And
mean,
so
I
Mike
wanted
knew
to come out
get to his
earlier,
dog,
but
he would basically have to climb onto the
he
boulders
was not
and
having it.
jump from rock to rock all the way to his dog. And so Mike tried calling for Andy one more time to stop and come back, but Andy was on his own program going towards the lake. And so, resigned to the situation, Mike climbed on top of the first boulder and began jumping boulder to boulder in the direction of his dog. 1 week later, on the afternoon of August 9th, Mike's wife, Diane, along with her 3 kids and some family friends, stood at the start of a trail called the Big Sandy Trail, which was the designated meeting spot where Mike said he would meet his family at the end of this 9-day journey.
Look,
And
I
as
got
Diane
like a
stood there
bleach
at this
spot
meeting
on
place,
my
she kept
top
anxiously
today.
checking her watch. Mike was late, and not
I was
just a few
washing
minutes
dishes
late.
and got
He was
bleach
a
on
full
my
24
clothes.
hours late. Mike was supposed to be there on the 8th at noon, and now it's the 9th, and he's still not here. But remember, Mike is a guy that did stuff like this fairly regularly. He was very competent out in the wild, and everybody knew when he went off on this journey that, of course, there was some variability to when he would actually arrive at the meeting place. Despite Mike saying, I'll be there on the 8th at noon, Diane and her friends and family all sort of felt like, well, I hope he's there at noon, but realistically, he might be, several hours or maybe even a day late, and that's
It's
okay.
getting there.
So the day
It
before,
was
when he
supposed to
didn't
be
show
a
up at
little
noon,
further
people were
ahead,
anxious, but they were okay. Now, 24
but
hours later, and still Mike has not shown
unfortunately,
up.
I
There's no
am
trace
not
of him.
ahead.
Diane and her
I
kids
am
and the family friends,
behind,
they were starting to worry. And in
but
fact,
I'm not
before
worried.
Mike left on this
I
trip,
still have
he told
tomorrow,
Diane that if for
but
some
I just
reason
want to
he
put
does
this
not
together
show
as
up on
much
the
as
9th,
possible
so
today,
24 hours after he said he would be
so
there,
I don't have
and it's past
to
4 o'clock on the
spend
9th,
too
this is
much
the
time
trigger
on it
point,
tomorrow,
that Diane should call the authorities and assume something is wrong and
because
send
I'm
out a search
fitting
party.
this on
So Diane
Sunday.
is checking her watch on the 9th, And soon enough, it's 4 p.m. Mike's not here. 4:05, 4:10, 4:15, still no Mike. And even though she knew her husband said, now it's time, go get the authorities, she just couldn't bring herself to do it. She felt like it's such a huge to-do if you get a search party organized out here. I mean, that's a massive effort, super expensive. And she felt like the second she told authorities that, like, Mike would come walking out of the wilderness with a big story to tell and a big apology for being late. And so she convinced herself that, you know what, give him one more day, I'm sure he's bound to show up. But the next day, on the 10th, when still there was no sign of Mike, that morning, Diane did go to the authorities and she reported Mike missing. And just as she expected, a massive search was launched for Mike. But you need to keep in mind here that, again, Diane and the searchers and everybody besides Mike has no idea that he has altered the path he was on. And they're going to be searching this massive expanse of wilderness that, even with the best of conditions, knowing exactly where someone is on their route, I mean, it's so hard to find people out here. I mean,
I'm trying to think of the best way to do this
from
part.
you, from the air, from the land. There are areas you can't even get to. There's predators out there. I mean, this is a dangerous thing to be doing. And again, they don't know he's not even on that path anymore. He's deviated. And so, despite helicopters in the air, horseback teams out in force, hundreds of volunteers combing the area looking for Mike, nobody found a trace of him. And after 2 weeks went by with this huge search producing nothing, they finally had to call it off. And so, of course, Mike's family is just unbelievably devastated.
I think I need the back to be out a little bit. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay, perfect. So
have you ever thought to yourself,
okay.
Man, I just wish
Alright, I just figured it out.
Strange, dark, and mysterious in live storytelling format? Well, guess what? That is now a reality. Because I am going on tour. I'm going to go to 15 different cities around the country and stand on a stage and tell some wild stories to anybody who wants to join. And these will be a combination of old school classic, Mr. Ball.
Alright, let's listen to some messy stories, y'all.
Some new ones that have not been. I miss you, Frank.
These are the sad ones.
On any of our platforms, so some new
So
stuff.
messy.
If you come see me live. But you gotta act fast because we just announced this tour last week, and already tickets are being bought at a record speed here. So if you want tickets, you gotta act now.
Messy stories, let's go.
Tour.ballinstudios.com or click the link in the description below. In terms of the types of tickets you can buy, there are general seating tickets, and there's also the VIP package if you want to meet this guy.
I heard that one
that's
before.
over here. And for our VIP ticket holders, bring your graphic novel with you if you bought it on pre.
I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the craziest story I've ever reported on. So this couple.
Okay, hold on. So from officer to felon, how I risk it. I took his dirty money, it got me locked up. My best friend set me up. She knew about the baby mama. I listened to that already. Damn, I watched so many of these already. Let's see this one.
All right, welcome back, Messy Fam. I got another video. Today, I got a girl who decided to go down and check another girl for knocking on the ceiling because they were making too much noise. And all hell broke loose.
Oh, shit.
I don't even know if that's the right term. When I say it was complete chaos from there, complete chaos. In this video, I did attach all of the receipts that was given by the original poster because she did post a lot of receipts. It was just sporadic. And let me know what y'all think in the comments. Check this out.
We finna try. So, yesterday was Christmas Eve, y'all. I tried to wipe. It's still bleeding. My hand is bruised so bad. And my wig is snatched. Yeah. So, yesterday was Christmas Eve, and I took time off work, so I had a hair appointment to go to. Went to my hair appointment, dropped 200 on my install, y'all, like I always do. Okay, went to my hair appointment. I had a wax appointment right after. I had most of all my appointments except for my nails, because my nails was already done, as y'all can see in the last video, right? So, I didn't have on my wig for maybe 45 minutes to an hour. So I'm back at home. I'm trying to wrap my baby stuff. He's asleep. So, Okay, my bad. But yeah, so my baby was asleep and he was sleeping in the living room, which I was glad because I was in the back doing last minute shit, wrapping gifts, doing last minute stuff for Christmas. And my neighbor always told me, she said, if we ever get too loud, just give us a little courtesy tap and then that'll let us know we're too loud. We'll try to quiet down. Cause she has a toddler or something like that. I'm like, okay, not a problem. Like, I always do that. And they always quiet down. They be like, okay, cool, we got you. So I grabbed the broom, like I always do, y'all. Tapped on the ceiling 3 times. It was just like, like, hey, down here working. My son's asleep. Not mine. Little did I know, she was not my neighbor no more. So the neighbor that I was doing the courtesy tap for was actually not my neighbor. I just found out yesterday, because of this incident, that she moved. So I get a bang at my door. I'm in the back, y'all. So I'm in the back and I hear a bang, like a police knock. So I check my ring camera, like, who the fuck? It did not cross my mind that, because the text was so friendly, like, it just didn't cross my mind that it would be somebody coming to my house. So
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, people do not be playing with that knock on the door stuff or that knocking on the ceiling. That is like the number one. Now, if you got an agreement with your person like she did, if you got cool, I used to have like a text. Like I used to, not my just text me if you're making too much noise, whatever the case may be, just to try to break the ice. But
just waiting on me. So I'm like, who the fuck is this? But the way she knocked, it sounded like she had beef. First thing I did, I got it from the top to the bottom. I walked into the kitchen. When I walked to the kitchen, I set my phone on record. I set my phone on record. How this interaction was about to go. My right? I answered the door, and I'm like, yeah. She was like, hey, was that you tapping on the ceiling? And I'm like, never seen this lady before, but I was like, yeah, y'all was a little loud. So she was like, okay, you don't have to tap on the ceiling. I'm like, okay, I was just letting you know y'all was loud. She said, okay, and we got a fucking dog. I mean, popping it. Bitch was popping it. So she was like, I said, ma'am, leave from in front of my door, please. She was like, and I'll fucking leave when I want to, when I'm good and goddamn ready, bitch. Move me. Y'all popping it. Popping it. So I asked her about 15 times, because I just listened to the video. I counted. I said, please leave from in front of my door. Like, it looked like if I was to close the door, she was going to try to stop me type shit. That's the type of time she was on. And I guess because I was so calm and so, like, she was like, oh, yeah, bitch. Mind y'all, the lady across from me has a Ring camera. So I hit her up, like, hey, can I get the footage? Because I'm going to post that, too. So I said, I'm going to ask you one more time. Please get away from my door. She was like, what? Move me. She was like, bye. I mean, cow popping. You're gonna have to move me something.
Y'all, this story is juicy already.
All through the hallway. And so she started screaming like, Jay, come get me. Da, da. So I didn't know who she with. I don't know who she was. It seems like she was trying to drag me out of my house. She yanked my wig. That's the only thing. She hit me one time right here and yanked my wig. Then hit me in my face not one time. And that was really the only hit she got, is when she hit me and took my wig off. So she's trying to drag me out. I'm barefooted. She has on shoes. So I'm getting like she's kind of dragging me, but I'm still hitting her. Oh, I said, oh no, but you want to play. So I drug her in the house, locked my motherfucking door, because I didn't know who was coming behind her. I don't know who that is. Locked my door and I tore that bitch to the floor.
Ooh, yes.
That's to the floor. I got mind you, my phone is still recording, remember? Because y'all, I set it on the counter for it to record. I stopped the recording, called my mama while I still got her in my hand. I'm kicking the bitch, hitting her. I'm like, Mom, pull up. This bitch ain't hot. My son right here. That's why I'm tripping, because my son is in the living room. He was asleep, but he wake up to his mama fighting.
Damn.
I'm going at it. Get off the phone, my mama. I got 2 separate clips. I get off the phone, my mama. I start back recording. This is how much time I had on my hands. So the bitch wasn't about nothing. Like, how do you come to somebody's house popping in, bitch? You get your ass beat. Okay, so start back recording. I'm on her ass. So I'm registered. Feel what I'm saying? Like, that shit could have got.
listen, let me tell you something. I'm sorry.
Don't approach people if you don't know how to fight.
Don't ever show up to somebody's place looking for an altercation. You are going to be like in dead wrong. Like you automatically wrong.
Yep.
Because this with GD and pull out a firearm on you, they're going to say she was defending herself.
Yeah.
Her door, her place, and you will lose. You will lose 100%. So
That's
honestly,
true.
she is a great storyteller because I
You
watched this
learn a
whole
lot.
video. I have to now because you guys be getting on me. I have to watch the full video. So I watched the full video. There's definitely a lot in this. I had to bring it all together, but let's keep getting. Let's get back into it. Let's get back into it.
Girl, I don't got no plans. You know I'm a homebody. I stayed at home. I don't got no plans. I stay home, girl.
I don't know how many times that shit could have got so nasty.
I'm a
But I did not
homebody.
take it there. I almost did, but I didn't take it there.
One of my friends
So
say
I
we should
started.
make
I
some
was being
plans and
ass.
do
I
this
was
and
being
that.
ass.
I'm
And
like,
screaming, please, ma'am, let me go, please. Nah, bitch, you want us to come here
nah,
so bad. So yeah, you
I'm
want us to be so
good.
motherfucking tough, so bitch,
Too
I'm gonna put you on a
many
motherfucking
crazy
pill,
things
bitch.
happening.
Like, what are you talking
I'm
about?
good.
So we going at it, y'all. I'm giving this bitch the business. I don't know what she thought, but that bitch got sleep through this motherfucking dishwasher in my kitchen. So I made the bitch walk out the back. Because at this point, remember, she's still screaming for somebody. So whoever it is, nigga banging on the door like, what's going on? I said, get the fuck from my door. She like, no, she gotta go. She beat me up. She is not. I'm like, you see my son right there? Bitch, I should motherfucking. But I ain't gonna do that to you. Feel me? Like, but if this was somebody else, it's 2024. You can't go in somebody's house or go to somebody's house popping it like that. Like, girl, you could have got sit down in the body bag. Like, but I'm gonna show you why you don't go to nobody's motherfucking house, and I'm sure it's gonna cost $60.
I need to see the
I'm the
clip.
one. Like,
Oh, I'm
you
not
don't do
sure
that
what
to
it is,
people.
but it's
So,
cold.
especially people with kids. She was bold as fuck. I give her that because how you know I ain't had no cousins at the crib? How you know my man went at the crib? Because if he was at the crib, it could have went different too. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit could have just got so nasty for no reason. Had she just been like, okay, my bad, I would have been like, oh, my bad. I ain't know y'all had a dog, and I see that I'm thinking you my old neighbor. She started popping. Made the bitch walk out the back door because you're not walking out the front because I don't know who that nigga is at the front. Y'all might try to barge in my son right here, so I made that bitch walk out the back and jump over the rail of the balcony type shit. I gave her the business. Like, girl, I know you ain't popping it like that and you can't even. Okay, so police come, everything. I told them, I said I have
Alexa,
it's registered to my name.
what's the weather?
Currently, in Newark, it's 44 degrees Fahrenheit with rain. You can expect more of the same tonight, with a low of 34 degrees.
I'm like, yo, I don't know.
Yeah, it says it's raining, so I don't know. I'd have to go up to see.
So then I call my mama right there. I call my mama. She pull up. My sister pull up.
Yeah,
my baby pull up.
It says it's raining.
My fiance pull. Everybody pulling up. Like everybody. So
I don't hear anything, so maybe not where I am.
Cause who is this lady? So she tells the police, I dragged her in and I beat her up. And I tried to, you know what I'm saying? They like, ma'am, it doesn't matter what she did to you and what she got you in the house. If she dragged you in the night, you was at her home, and she asked you to leave. So I got
15 times.
Why the fuck? Come to find out, this bitch did not live there. She was with the nigga that just moved in a couple days ago. That's how. And he was like, okay, so that's why you thought it was your old neighbor. He just moved in, and I didn't know that. But you don't even live here. You're not even his bitch. You just some bitch that's just coming down here trying to be cute in front of this nigga, and you got your ass beat. And it's all on camera. She went from, yeah, bitch, what's up? I'm at your house. What you gonna do? So, ma'am, please, it's Christmas Eve. Don't do me like this. Bitch, it was Christmas Eve when you came to my door. Like, what are we talking about here? So, police came back. They like, she trying to press charges, but we denied because she came to your house, and I gave him the ring camera footage. I'm like, sir, you see me ask her how many times. I got the footage. I got the recording. I said, y'all can check the 911 call. I told them, I have a weapon in here. My son is in here, and I will use this bitch if I need to. Come get this bitch. She was gone by that time, jumped over the rail like, please. Y'all, the bitch was bold. And I'm going to post everything. So I asked her, at this point, I'm pissed. I'm like, listen, because her mouth was bleeding. By the time I got out, she dripped blood from her mouth, face knotted up. I said, listen, am I going to jail? He was like, no. You know what I'm saying? She came into your house, and, it's shown on that ring camera. This is why I'm so adamant about my ring camera, because my fiance be like, babe, I'm done. I just got done charging it. I'll put it back up tonight. I'm like, no, put it back up right now. We need that. Like, this is my first time ever having to really use that footage, but my neighbor across the door, we was rumbling out that bitch. My neighbor across the hall, I knocked on her door to get the footage, but she wasn't there. But I'm gonna post that too. She should be there by tomorrow or Monday, because because it is Christmas today, so maybe she's out of town. I don't know. She's new too. She just moved in like a week ago. So I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry we had to be on these terms, but
Y'all, I just love these message stories. Like,
and I'm gonna
what?
send it to everybody. But yeah,
How you come to somebody's house and you don't even live in the complex?
This next clip that we about to listen to is the actual like altercation. So I got all the videos. It did take some time to get them the further posted, but I patiently waited for us because I know this is the stuff we look for. Like y'all want the receipts. So here's the receipt, y'all. Listen to this. I will add captions to the screen, but you know some of the words are muffled, so it's kind of hard to pick up. But just listen to what was happening because it matches exactly what this girl was saying. Check this out. Off the rip, girl, I love your storytelling, but off the rip, I can tell you was on 10. You was on 100. I can tell you was ready to put hands on her. You didn't care. I don't know, but something about it just seemed like you was a little bit more aggressive. That is my point. I'm not saying she didn't deserve it or whatever.
I'm gonna put it so y'all can hear it.
On the initiative. Sorry.
But you know I need on this feeling. So what? Cause you come down to my house. I don't give a fuck.
I gotta add context for this. Now the girl did start to get agitated. It was getting agitated, but at the same time,
yes. Ooh, I love it.
This moment, she didn't know that this girl.
It really is.
So it's like, in this moment,
thank you so much. You know I'm still like glowing in my T-zone though. I don't think I could fix that much.
And she just took it to 10, so girl got on match the energy. That's just what I'm getting from it. Y'all let me know what y'all getting from it.
I don't get not a fuck. So it's not one fuck. All I did was come down here. What do you want to ask you not to hit on this feeling? I'm asking here. That's not my car. You're mad as fuck. Don't get on this feeling. Get the fuck away from my door. Bitch, move. Bye. Bye. You can go in your home. Ain't nobody doing nothing to you. I'm gonna ask you to get away from my door. So what are you gonna do? Ma'am, get away from my door. I'm gonna do this fucking problem.
Listen. I understand this public property stuff. Like, this is public property. Please, do not show up to somebody's door. That is not public property.
Right. You get to ask me.
This is not public property. This is my place where I live. This is not public. You cannot come in here without me telling you.
What? I'm gonna do what? You heard me gonna what? What? Please do. What? Please do. No, you. I'm asking. What? You said what? You said what? Get away from my door. I'll do it when I'm ready. I'm good and ready to do it. You know what? I'm good and ready. What?
That first punch was vicious. Off the bat. Dang.
She said, "Oh, you got the right one." Say, ma'am.
This is not. We're not seeing nothing. All we doing is hearing. So, from my standpoint, it just sounds like two people sitting at a table out of breath having a conversation. What y'all think? That's just two people at the table having a conversation. All right. Don't give me banned. Definitely, just out of breath. They're out of breath. This is not what you think. This is not what you think. This is part 2. All right. This is second audio. Okay. All right. They just yelling at each other. No violence. Karen, we don't condone the violence. Okay. If you two maybe take this down, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay.
well, I just get a notification on my Ring camera that my neighbor, she was walking her dog, and quiet down, baby. She was walking her dog, and I see her walking in her apartment. So I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to scare you, but I just have a question. I'm such and such. I hate that we had to meet on these terms, but we got into a little altercation yesterday. So I was just wondering if you had it on your Ring camera, if you could just check for me. She was like, girl, I was in Virginia shopping with my man, and she said, what made me look at the previous videos is that I saw the police at my doorbell, and they rung my doorbell. So she was like, so I'm like, why are they at my doorbell? So she said that she checked the previous videos, and that made her go through the videos, and she saw us fighting. And she was like, listen, I seen where you kept asking her to leave, kept asking her to leave, and she would not leave, and she was walking towards you like she was trying to like, and she was like, and I was thinking that you were dragging her in, but I knew you had got her in. It just didn't show it all the way because you can hear the beating from the hallway because of her screaming and pleading and da 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 da. She was like, you were not wrong. I said, well, I'm sorry. That's not the type of person I am. Feel what I'm saying? Like, and
Girl, you was
I'm
on
not
a
paying attention to the
100.
comments and talking about I was the, I should have did this or I was wrong for doing this, but you don't tell me what the fuck I'm wrong for doing at my house. I was on the other side of my apartment wrapping gifts for my son, like for Christmas. Like on his, in the living room by himself, just chilling, trying to take a nap. Like, and you hear a bang at your door and your kid is, I don't know what's going on. That's why I recorded, because I didn't know how this interaction was going to go. And I did what needed to be done. So it's like, and I'm not that type of parent. Never been.
That first hit sounded like Thor's hammer. So I don't want no smoke. I'm sorry. I'll be trying. Do you handle that? That's on you. But listen, moral of the story here. If you got a problem with your neighbor, just call the office. Don't even knock on the door. Because at this point, you at this girl's property. Just go to the office.
But she don't even live there.
If you are a visitor, please don't let that person gas you up. Go on about your day. That's the moral of the story. Mind your business. And I get it. Somebody gonna be like, you mind your business. This video is this is for educational purposes only. Don't go downstairs bothering people. If they knock on your ceiling, you just go handle it the way you is.
She said, ma'am, let me go.
You can live here. The time to make noise is somewhere between 9 a.m. to like 10 p.m. at night, all right? Learn your little agreements, okay? Make noise in between these times. As long as you're not like through the walls or nothing like that, you're good, okay? This is how I'm making videos now. I'm trying to keep it more real myself.
And that's why I don't like apartment complex, y'all, because people just be loud. Dogs and cats and animals or whatever they have just be loud.
I'm not one of those content creators. I don't care. All right. The next video.
Why would she even think to go to that girl door? She don't even live in the apartment
TikTok
complex.
and I see something like this. It says, "Tell me something deep." Then she goes on to say in the next slide, she says, "My dad is on his third marriage. He moved out of the country and started naming his new children the same names as his children from his first and second marriages in the States." Then she says, "Because of the way he treated me, his only daughter, I always prayed I never had another one, meaning daughter. Till this day, I'm the only girl. He keeps having boys. He can't get past my name. He never will." Now this because she goes into more detail in this next clip explaining why she said these things, because this blew up all over social media. I was like, what? This is crazy. Check this out.
So one afternoon, my mom was breastfeeding my little brother, and my dad was just sitting in the chair, just looking odd, just looking weird. And she's like, "Well, what's the deal with you? What's wrong with you?" And he got the nerve to say, "I don't think I want a family anymore." What? To wrap that up, he had been cheating and didn't have the to say what he really felt. He kicked us out the house. My mom didn't have nowhere to go like that.
No,
She's not even
well,
from
he needs to go. He's the one who want to leave the marriage.
She's out there because he's out there. And we had been out there for years. She had to pack up her car, drive all the way to Oklahoma where her family is, barely any money, with her children. And
just.
husband just said he didn't want to be married anymore out of nowhere. And when I say that divorce was nasty, it was a nasty divorce. He tried to take me and my brother. He was lying. He kept calling CPS on my mama, lying, saying that she was abusing us and all this crazy nonsense. Never happened. Then there was this incident where my auntie was watching us. You know, back then, they always had their curling irons out. This is in the 90s. She had her curling iron sitting on the counter, and the curling iron fell and hit his arm, I think. He told the judge that she had put a curling iron up to him and stuff. Like, he was being real dirty with it. For some reason, I feel like he wanted to keep us, but leave my mama and just start over with a new wife or something. I don't know, because the military really fucked him up. Just for time purposes, I'm gonna skip to what, maybe like a year later, he's already remarried. He's already remarried. And this is the moment that I realized that I
So what's the point of leaving your marriage to go get married to somebody else?
Something like that, a couple months. He was so mean to me. He would be so evil towards me. So mean. If it wasn't for his new wife at the time, who was a saving grace, I don't know what would happen to me. He would whoop me for no reason. He would just be evil. There was this one time where, and this was it right here. My mama, because back then we didn't have we didn't have like cell phones and stuff like that. Kids didn't have cell phones back then. So my mama would always put a picture of her in my suitcase, in my little suitcase that I would take. And in my brother's room, there was bunk beds, and I'm like 6 at the, I believe I'm like 6 at the time, 6 or 7 or something like that. And anyway, I'm on the top bunk, and I'm just looking at the picture of my mama because I miss my mama so much, and I could feel him staring at me. Y'all know them old school bunk beds that have like the wooden ones that got the it's like the bars, you can kind of see through it, like the wooden bars or whatever.
Yeah.
And I looked, and the door was cracked, and he was just watching me. He barged in the room. He had on all his military stuff. I used to hate to hear his boots. He barged in the room. He snatched that picture out of my hand. He snatched me off the bunk bed at the top. Yes, he snatched me off the bunk bed, y'all. And he took that picture and he ripped it up in my face. The picture of my mama, he ripped it up in my face. He was like, I never want to see her in my house. Don't anything of hers. Don't bring it. I don't want to see it. Proceeds to like beat me, and his new wife comes in there like, hey, no. Like she would always come save me. I promise. I really feel like that incident was the incident that really just like shook me to my core. And I don't even think I told my mama for a long time. I never even told her. So check this out. So around that age range, I used to wake up in the middle of the night screaming, balled up. I'm talking like I still remember the pain I would feel. And it would always happen around a certain time at night where it was like this excruciating pain. Oh my God. And then finally, my mama took me to the doctor. She took me to the doctor, and they're like, we don't know what it is that's going on, but clearly she's in pain. So they ended up having to, I'm going to say the country, this is pretty much what it was. They had to airlift me to the city to go to the doctor, and they found all these stomach ulcers. I was giving myself ulcers. I'm a kid, like 6 or 7 years old. I was giving myself stomach ulcers because I kept thinking about the next time I would have to go out there again. Because that's how scared and terrified I was. That's how much I did not want to go out there. And anyway, I didn't know this part until later on, but the doctor pulled my mama out in the hallway and was like, what is this little girl going through? Like, what is it? Is there anything that she's not telling you? Or is there something that's on her mind or whatever? And my mom was like, I don't know, because I wasn't telling her what was happening. And she ended up coming back in the room, and she was like, Courtney? I said, my mama talked, Courtney, is there anything you want to tell me? And I was like, no. And she was like, are you sure? Is there anything that's on your mind? And I was like, I don't want to go back to my daddy's house. After that, she said, okay, you're not going back. And I never went back. Legally, I don't know what happened, but your girl wasn't going back to see her daddy. Not gonna happen. But throughout the years, like trying to talk to him on the phone, and when I say this was very minimal, like when my mom, mind you, like this is like early 2000s, the 90s, like trying to track somebody down was
Y'all
really,
hear that?
really hard. But when my mama would, and she would try to like, I guess not force the relationship, but just she knew, you know, like
That's someone's car.
he got my brother, you know, it was also
Girl,
like
I'm
for her
so
to talk to my
obsessed with
brother.
my face.
And anytime I would talk on the phone
My
with my
face?
daddy,
Wow.
he would just talk mess about my mama to me. I'm still a kid. Whenever my brother would get on the phone and my daddy would hear my mama's voice, he'd hang up the phone. And then he would change the number. Like, he was just so freaking petty. And he would tell his new wife all these lies about my mama, just to, you know how men do. And very, very convincing. You know, a narcissist is very good at what they do. So I don't blame the new wife at all. I'm trying to say her name. I don't blame her at all for thinking how she thought, because he was just in her head so much. But when he turned around and pretty much did the same thing he did to her, they ended up having a conversation. And she ended up apologizing to my mama, like, you was right. You know what I mean? It was like one of them situations. And he just moved on. But before that happened, my daddy, he ended up working his way up into the Pentagon. He was working in the Pentagon, child. And when 9/11 happened, he was in there. God gave him a second chance. I try not to judge. Gave him a second chance, and he had to learn how to walk again. Because he lost all mobility in his legs. You would think that would be a humbling experience, but no.
Not a narcissist. They don't be humble. Okay.
I can't imagine the kind of things to go through.
I'm sorry I came on late, you know. But I'll see you tomorrow if you don't come back.
But the fact that she held all that in as a child, to the point that it started affecting her physically, that just shows you how much she had endured. And that picture with her mom being torn up, to me, I feel like it's about the photo, if you ask me. Take away her sense of safety and love. That's heartbreaking, really. But let's not overlook her strengths. It takes courage to relive this and share it with us. Especially the story involves people who failed her. If anything, this is a reminder of how important it is to protect our kids, people they can feel safe with. But Messy fam, let's talk about it. How do you move forward after being hurt so deeply by the person who's supposed to protect you? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you're respectful. So I ain't gonna lie, I've been kind of caught up in this survive and breathe thread.
See you later.
On TikTok lately for like the last week.
Good night, good night.
For some reason. As you can see right here, the top comment, raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by it. So based off of that, you already know this story is about to be crazy. So let's get into this. Before
Your
we
story.
Now, this story is coming out of Utah by a content creator named Victoria, or you can follow her on TikTok at her @name @Vicky_Nova. So if you want more updates, you can follow her. Now, as you can see, this paper right here, this little screenshot right here, you see, this is a lawsuit between her and the girl that she's talking about. So that way you guys know that this is not
FUD. Like, this is a true story. So make sure y'all follow her if you want more updates on what's currently going on, because this is currently happening
so
today.
that part
All right,
done.
now without
Let's
further
do
ado,
this part
rest of
now.
y'all, let's get into the story time.
I wanted to get on here and share my 2 cents in my story about Bree. Coming from somebody who has been caught in her crosshairs, I can wholeheartedly say that this individual is off their rocker and needs severe mental help, and she refuses to get it. Bree lives here in Salt Lake. She has for many, many years. I met her when I turned 21, okay? I was dating a club promoter at the time who gave me a table at the club for my birthday, okay? And he was friends with everybody, okay? He was friends with every walk of life. He introduced me to everybody, blah, blah. I was new to the club scene. So Bree was one of the people that he introduced me to. And I remember the night that I met her, like it was yesterday. Table, okay, I had my group of friends and I had friends with and she was just there. And I didn't know her or want her there, and she thought because she was friends with my ex that she could just do whatever the hell she wanted. So I decided to anyways, it was just super weird and uncomfortable. And he introduced me to her. At the time, the things that I did know about her before, shaking her hand officially was that she was an escort and that she was underage.
You wash your face?
That she was using a fake
Wash your face?
I just didn't like her. I judged her based off of that. I judged her before I knew her because being a 21-year-old coming into the nightlife scene and getting to know these people, you don't have as much
Go
tolerance
look, and then I'll
for
put one on and
the
do
dark
it.
side of it, which is the escorting,
Let me know if you
the drug
find it.
dealers, the strippers, this and that. So I immediately was like, no. I was like, me and my friends are not like that. We don't do any of that stuff. Not a person I want to associate with. So anyways, come to my birthday party. My ex introduces me to all these people, and she was one of them. I don't want to be associated with her at all. Anyways. Fast forward, I become best friends with one of my ex's friends. Okay, we were mutuals, and I became best friends with her. And we were tight at the hip. We were inseparable. And this girl that I was best friends with was friends with everybody. Like, everybody loved her. Okay, her and I were just together all the time. We were friends with everybody, whatever. And Bree had this apparent it was obsessive over this girl that I was friends with. So you have me, my best friend that I became best friends with, and then there was Bree kind of on the outside who was obsessed with my best friend. So these two were friends. So Bree just kind of became part of this circle of people that was kind of just around her. I kind of told her right, with people that I was friends with in that scene. But she just always fucking rubbed me wrong. Like, her energy is so jacked up, and she's so creepy and weird, and I just never liked her. Never did. I just wasn't feeling her. And she didn't like that. So, super sickly obsessed with my best friend. They have their own whole story, which is, I hope one day her and I can get on here and talk about it, because the shit she knows about Bree is crazy. She was really good friends with Bree way back in the day before she realized that Bree was a nutcase. So anyways, nightlife time as well. So I used to be a bottle girl, and then I in Salt Lake. And Bree has just always kind of been around, right? She's always been around. I always heard weird, crazy stories about her accusing exes of, rape and abuse and all this stuff. And I was like, dude, it's just crazy. Like, and nobody really fully knew that she was psycho until now, okay? But there was a small group of people that knew that she was off her rocker a long time ago, including me. So anyways, years go by, okay? Always kept my distance from her, stayed out of her crosshairs just because I knew I did not want any part of that. So This is about 4 years ago now. 3 or 4 years ago now. I'm not sure. So, anyways, she worked for me at a nightclub. Okay. I wouldn't say worked for me necessarily. I just managed. Okay. And she was one of the bottle girls. And there was a lot of talk about how she was harping clients for tips. There was, a lot of our customers would constantly complain about her bitching to them about not tipping her enough or writing down tips that they did not agree to give her. And that's theft. That's theft, okay? That's fireable. And so being in the position that I was in, I had to go talk to the owners, and the owners were like, yeah, we need to get rid of her. So it wasn't only the theft that was going on. She was constantly late to work. Every fucking weekend, dude. She'd show up frantic with all her fucking bags and shit, and she would go downstairs and she would get ready for work while we were supposed to be working already when the club was open. And we would approach her and she'd be talked to about this, like, hey, you can't be late for work. Like, what the fuck? It's unfair to the rest of the girls who have been here for an hour or two prepping for the night, and you're just showing up, getting ready. And her response to us was, I'm a business owner. You just don't understand. Like, blah, blah, blah. Poor me. Pity party bullshit that she's always pulled, okay? So anyways, it escalated. It got to the point where I just pulled her off the schedule. I stopped scheduling her. It was our way of firing her. And I was just like, no, we don't need your drama. This is bullshit. Especially when most of the people that we worked with are single moms putting food on the table for their kids or whatever. It's like we all have our own struggles, but we still manage to be here on time and take care of shit. So
Yeah.
this whole thing blows up.
Alright. I'm not interested in Bree's story.
She gets sick. I take her off the schedule.
I remember hearing the type of person she was, but okay, let's hear this one.
She thought they'd be the perfect family, but everything changed once the baby came. I think we all can relate to this. So let's dive into this mom's story and unpack what went so wrong.
On today's episode of Men Don't Show Their True Colors Until After You Have Their Baby, I don't want to give context, I don't want to give background. I just kind of want to start off with this morning. Didn't sleep well last night. My baby was sleeping fine. Every morning I wake up for my husband so that I can make him breakfast before he goes to work.
Man child.
He really likes that. He really likes to have eggs and some kind of meat, like sausage. So I get up just to do that, really, after maybe getting like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. And when I get down to the kitchen, it's kind of frustrating because my husband did not help at all last night because he called me around like noon the day before and just says like, oh, I'm getting sick. And that's just kind of like, it's not that I don't have sympathy for him for being sick. I take care of him, but it's always kind of frustrating because if he's sick, he just basically thinks that means he doesn't have to do anything at all. But for me, when I'm sick, nothing changes. I still have to take care of the baby. I still have to make sure everybody's taken care of. So I was frustrated with a little bit of the mess in the kitchen. And I was like pushing stuff around a little bit. Like, you know how moms be. Yes, we don't have to be that loud, but we're frustrated and we're moving stuff around. But it's not that big of a deal, right? Because nobody's gonna yell at you because you're making food for everyone. My husband literally screamed at the top of his lungs with all of his volume at me and just laid into me for a good 10 minutes, insulting everything about me while he was eating the breakfast that I made for him. And I was just telling him, I was like, I thought that this was supposed to be the happiest time of our life. I was really looking forward to us being a family, and I didn't have a good childhood, so I was really excited because I thought that we're gonna be this perfect family with a mom and a dad and a baby, and
Oh, baby, not even two
My
babies.
kid's gonna end up either growing up listening to us fight, quote unquote, which is really just me getting fucking. What do I do? I just leave. Just leave. He has taken everything from me. I don't have any savings. Only he does. He makes us feel completely financially dependent on him, and I cannot leave. But then he can treat me however he wants. And I used to make good money. Like, I have an actual, like, skill set and a career. Like, I could go out and out-earn him if I really wanted to. So maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I just need to, because I can't just, like, up and leave with my kid. Like, we would have to be in a shelter, and I am so grateful. And it honestly might be a lot better for us to go to a shelter. I don't know. Physically, he's moved on to breaking things. He has not reached the phase of hitting me yet. He does shove me, but he has never hit me. This is so embarrassing. And I feel like people will get on me for being in this position. Like, how could you put yourself in that position? How could you put yourself in your child's position? Because he seemed normal before I got pregnant. He seemed normal. Before we got home from the hospital, and he called me a bitch after I just gave birth to his child. He seemed normal before we got home from the hospital after having his child, and he was telling me to get beers while I was bleeding and stitching up together. I hate him very much at this point. I don't know what to do.
Y'all, I'm gonna head out. I'll see y'all tomorrow because I want to listen to this story offline. But thank y'all so much for joining me for an hour. I only said I would be here an hour, and it's been an hour and two. But thank you so much for showing up, and I'll see you tomorrow.